We need borders. We will have a wall. The wall will be built. The wall will be successful. And if you think walls don't work, all you have to do is ask Israel.
It's just not possible. And it's not embracing American values. And it would tear communities apart. And it would send a signal that we're not the kind of country that I know America is.
Donald Trump and Jeb Bush talking about illegal immigration during last night's Republican presidential debate on the Fox Business Network. And it is just one of the topics in tonight's Point-Counterpoint. We're joined by Republican strategist Matt Mackowiak, president of Potomac Strategy Group, and Democrat Ed Espinoza, executive director of Progress Texas. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us again. We appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay, illegal immigration really seems to be one of those issues where some candidates seem to have an all or nothing approach. Is there any middle ground here, Matt?
Yeah, I think there is, and you had a very interesting back and forth in last night's debate between Trump on one side and Kasich and Jeb Bush on the other, and you could add probably Rubio to that mix, although he didn't speak up on that point. But look, Trump's plan might be attractive to 20 or 25% of the Republican primary electorate. It would never get through Congress. How big would the federal government have to be to deport 11 to 13 million people? We don't know where they are. We don't know who they are. You'd be tearing apart families. In some cases, these children would be American citizens. So that's not practical. Now, that said, I don't think we should offer citizenship. They should have legal status if they go through a process where they pay a fine, learn English, etc. But they shouldn't become citizens. And unfortunately, I think for Democrats, it's all about votes. They want these illegal immigrants who are here to be able to vote. And I think for a lot of Republicans, that's unfair, and that's rewarding lawbreaking.
Ed, is that true?
No, it's never been about votes, and Matt has said that before, and he can't substantiate it. What this is about is reforming the immigration system. The immigration system hasn't been reformed in almost a generation. It's broken. Something needs to be done. Imagine operating on some system that hadn't been updated in 30 years. And the problem with trying to deport everybody, first of all, it's impractical. It can't be done. It's extremely expensive. And the other thing you keep in mind is that 40% of people who are here that are undocumented came on an airplane and overstayed their visas, and no wall is going to stop that from happening. So for Donald Trump, and I think it's a lot more than 20% of Republicans, it might be a good talking point, but it's just not a real good policy.
Let's talk a little bit about the minimum wage discussion that happened during the debate last night. Both Trump and Dr. Ben Carson said they oppose raising the minimum wage. Trump saying that U.S. wages are already too high if you want to be competitive globally. That might be a tough sell come next November, workers, being told that they need to be paid less. Ed, is that a move that will hurt them with voters, or are voters likely to assume they wouldn't get that anyway?
You could go out and ask any person on the street if they think they're getting paid too much, and I think you have a pretty good idea of what the response is going to be. In fact, everyone will probably tell you the right amount is just a little bit more. But when it comes to minimum wage, that's a tough issue. Minimum wage hasn't risen in something like 14 years. I don't know the exact number, but it's been a while. Most of the people who are minimum wage earners are adults, and it's time that these things have kept up with the cost of living. To increase the price of something like a hamburger so that someone can go from $7 to $10 would be about pennies on the dollar, less than 10 cents. It's worth it. It's time for us to have a serious conversation about minimum wage.
But Matt, there are repercussions for this discussion, right?
Yeah, there are. I mean, if you artificially, increase the cost of labor, you're going to have businesses choose to employ fewer people. And so, ultimately, we want people to have the opportunity to move up the economic ladder. We shouldn't be talking about the minimum wage. We should be talking about getting people moving up through the middle class so they can earn more, getting them more skills. A very large percentage of minimum wage workers are people that work part-time or people that are young, 25 years or younger. There's a very, very small percentage of workers that make the minimum wage. But I do think we need to have some compassion about this for people that are earning, whatever it is, $10 or $11 an hour as the minimum wage. That's a very small amount. It's less than $30,000 a year. These people are in poverty, and it might be better for them to be getting government benefits economically than it would be to be earning the minimum wage. And that's a disincentive to work. That's part of the reason why we have government dependence at record levels.
I agree with Matt.
All right, we'll have these discussions continue. Gentlemen, we appreciate you being here tonight. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Thanks.